Hi, welcome back to my channel. Last week I did a video on living in Highlands Ranch, Colorado. And people were wondering, well, what's the cost of living in this Denver suburb? And today we're going to do a deep dive into just that. Hi, my name's Peggy Durstoff and I'm a realtor with HomeSmart here in the Denver metro area of Colorado, specifically Highlands Ranch in Douglas County. And today we're going to discuss the cost of living in Highlands Ranch. And also, I'm going to show you a way for you to calculate the difference between the cost of living where you live and what it would cost you to move here to Highlands Ranch, Colorado, just in case you're thinking about making a move. Now, for those of you that missed last week's video, Highlands Ranch is located in Douglas County and is a suburb of Denver. It sits in the South Metro Denver area. It has a population of about 105,000 people, with a median age of about 39. 80% of the people that live here own their own homes, and about 20% rent. The community is ranked as one of the best places to raise a family and live in the nation. In fact, we rank 650 out of over 6,000 for best suburbs for young professionals. We rank 954 out of 18,000 for best places to live, and 850 out of 18,000 for best places to raise a family in America. We're in the top 25% for best places to buy a house in America. The school district is also highly rated. In fact, I've given you a link down below to the Douglas County School District so you can check it out for yourself, just in case you're thinking about making a move here. Now, when you're thinking about moving, one of the things we have to look at is called the cost of living scores and indexes. And there is actually a score for this. It's at 100. Kind of reminds you of the old testing that we used to do. So you know that when you're looking at the score for a place, if it's over 100 or under 100, you'll know about how much more or less compared to the national average you'll have to spend to live there. If a place has a cost index of 135, you know it's 35% higher cost of living there than the national average. And of course, if it has a score of 85, you know it's 15% less to live there than the national average. Simple math. Now, as we look at the cost of living in Highlands Ranch, Colorado, we're going to cover housing costs, whether you rent or buy, food and groceries, utilities, transportation, health care, and of course, let's not forget taxes. Now, the biggest cost of living when you're making a move is really your housing. So whether you're buying a single-family house, a townhome, a condo, or even if you're renting one, this takes the largest chunk out of your budget. Now, depending upon what resources you use, Highlands Ranch comes in higher on the national scale in some areas and lower in others. And we can see overall, if you're a homeowner in the Denver metro area, you get a score of about 128 for overall cost of living, which means it's about 28% higher to live here than the national average. If you're living in Highlands Ranch, Colorado, your score overall is about 138.2, which means it's about 38.2% higher than the national average to live in Highlands Ranch, Colorado. It's only 7% higher if you're moving from Denver to Highlands Ranch. Now remember, these numbers are always going to be related to where you're moving from. As a transplanted New Yorker, I can tell you that Highlands Ranch right now is 26% cheaper to live in than if I lived in New York City. So New Yorkers, come on over. It's a great place to live. As I said, the biggest chunk in your budget is, of course, your housing. And this higher ranking comes from the fact that the median price of a home right now in Highlands Ranch has jumped to $617,000. That doesn't mean that you can't find a home for less than that. I mean, after all, we have condos, townhomes, single-family houses of different sizes. The reality is, you can spend anywhere from $283,000 all the way up to $1 million plus, depending on what kind of home you get. And right now, as I'm filming this, the market nationally is driven by a severe lack of inventory and high demand as people are relocating, discovering they can work from home, and that their home needs are changing. As far as rents go, if I was to take sort of a mid-range 3-bedroom, 2-bath home with a 2-car garage here in the Highlands Ranch area, it's going to run you upwards of $2,500. Rent is not cheap in this area of town. Now, although our housing is at the higher end of the spectrum for our Denver metro area, things like utilities are 6% lower than the national average. Groceries are 2% lower than the national average, and healthcare is around 2% lower than the national average. So those numbers bring your cost of living down a little bit, because not everything is high. Transportation costs tend to be a little bit higher here in Highlands Ranch. So, gas, auto insurance, public transportation. Most homes in the Highlands Ranch area are actually 2-car family homes. And a lot of people, especially at the filming of this video, it's post-COVID. So even though we do have the RTD for the buses and we do have the light rail for the trains, a lot of people are taking their cars into downtown Denver. And downtown sits about a 45-minute drive away. And of course, then there's parking costs associated with that. So you'll see those transportation costs come in a little bit higher when you're looking and comparing costs of living, including transportation. Let's not forget taxes. News in Highlands Ranch is the sales tax is only 5%. I've lived a lot of different places, but 5% is pretty good. In fact, 5% sales tax is fairly low compared to even one county over. Unfortunately, the flip side of that is our property taxes. Douglas County tends to have one of the highest median property taxes in the nation. It takes a median of about 0.76% of what's considered assessment of fair market value for your home. Now, luckily these days, that number is coming in lower than what we know we could sell the home for on the open market. But it is something to consider when you're looking at home ownership in the area. Based upon these numbers, you might be wondering, wow, that's a bit higher than the national average, and you'd be right living in Highlands Ranch, Colorado. Now, Highlands Ranch also ranks high on employment rates, jobs, business growth, and at the last census, the median household income was around $125,000, compared to the national average of $62,000. And even higher than the Colorado median income of $77,000. People that live here are able to afford this type of housing and this cost of living. Remember in the beginning I mentioned those links that I was going to give you. They are bestplaces.net, where you can go ahead and check out, and I've put the link down below so you can do some comparison for cost of living, and also PayScale, cost of living, is another one that you can check out as well. And this might give you an idea, if you're thinking about moving to the Highlands Ranch area of Colorado, what the cost of living here would be. If you like this video, you might want to go ahead and check out this one over here that I did last week on living in Highlands Ranch, specifically the Westridge area. And if you found this information valuable, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button. And if you'd like to be notified the next time I post another video, go ahead and ring that bell. This way you'll be in the know. Thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video.